Yeah, peace everybody. I'm here once again trying to do another video, keeping with the consistency. And today I want to talk about we should learn, not necessarily learn because we know how to do this, but we should practice thinking our own thoughts. We should not allow the mainstream media, society, the culture. We shouldn't allow anything to determine what we think, our experiences, what we see, because what they do is, if they can manipulate your thoughts, they can manipulate your life. They can determine who you hate, who you love. They can determine your drive, your motivation. Everything in reality that we experience has to do with perception and thought. This is the most valuable asset to your life. If you control your own thoughts, you literally can mold your own destiny, your own path, your own future, your own emotional states, because your emotional states is determined by what you think. If you can manipulate how you think, you can manipulate how you feel, because memories, experiences trigger emotions, and that's what they want you to do. If they could trigger your particular emotion, they can manipulate how you actually react to a situation. They can manipulate your actions in general. And if I manipulate your actions, you have strings attached to you that you don't realize, and I'm controlling you like a puppet. You're my puppet. But if you control your own thoughts, you actually are your own master. Now, the media wants us to hate Donald Trump. They want everybody in America to hate Donald Trump, right? Because they said so. They deem the guy as the villain. And they deem Joe Biden as the savior, the hero, right? So we're supposed to love and admire Joe Biden, and we're supposed to hate Donald Trump because of what the media said. Now, we don't use our own critical thinking to analyze both characters, look at both records, look at both experiences, and then we determine whether we're going to like or dislike this person. It shouldn't be just force-fed to you by the media. Now, me growing up my entire life, right, I've been taught to hate white people because the white people is the oppressor. The white people put me in slavery, put my ancestors in slavery. The white people have been oppressing the black people in America. Whites only, blacks only. They've been lynching us. They've been redlining us. Everything evil to us, right? The white people do. Now, when I get older, they tell me to go work for the white people. I'm like, this is an actual contradiction, because for one, you told me the white man is the enemy. Now you're telling me I gotta go serve the white people? Like, what is real? What's truth? You try to get your own business, they will not help you. The people that want you to hate white people, and then the same people that want you to work for white people are the same people that won't help you become independent. So why should I think either way? Why should I think the way you want me to think? Because the way you want me to think is contrary to how you want me to live. You don't want me to be free. You don't want me to be independent. You want me to go work for white people. And you want me to put on this two-faced mask that is talked about in the book Soul of Black Folks, the double conscious, right? We're supposed to be two different people at once. We're supposed to be a person to white people. Then we're supposed to be a person to black people. We're basically schizophrenic, has split personalities, right? And this is how you want me to live my life. No, I choose to be the same person regardless of what I'm talking to. I don't want to be two different people. I don't want a double consciousness. I don't want to be a fake smiling coon. How you want me to be, this is how the black people want you to be. They tell you this is the way to success. You got to have your white voice, your black voice. No, I just want one voice. I don't care. I don't want to work for white people. You telling me I'm supposed to hate? Okay. You're teaching me that the Africans sold the black people in slavery, right? But I'm supposed to love the Africans. You telling me we're supposed to go back home, the motherland. We supposed to be Pan-Africanists. But they supposed to be the ones who betrayed us to the white people. They sold us to the white people, allegedly, what you're telling me. Why would I want to go to a place who betrayed my ancestors, who put me in extreme captivity. You telling me to go to the motherland, the continent, they call the continent, right? And you telling me to hate the Caucasians because of what they did. But why not, look at it from my perspective and look at it from reality, objective perspectives. I could choose who I hate and who I don't hate. Now, I look at the history. The United States government was set up because they wanted freedom from the British. White people, allegedly. You telling me the British was white people, right? Then you telling me the British had other white people in slavery, in oppression. They wanted freedom. They said, give me freedom, give me death. All of this, right? But why don't they teach white people to hate white people? If white people had white people in slavery. And you telling me the American government, the Congress, is my friend, yet the American United States government instituted slavery after they got freedom from the British against my people, black people. Had no rights under even though we was fighting in the Revolutionary War, the American Revolution. The black people fought in the war to get freedom for white people who had white people in slavery. And then the government that won put my people in slavery. Why do we want to be friends with America? You want to be cool with America, right? You telling me America did all this evil to black people. They Jim Crow, blacks only, whites only. And we supposed to praise the people who wanted to become cool with the white people. Martin Luther King, A. Philip Randolph. I won't say, what's her name? Rosa Parks, because Rosa Parks was a revolution. She said, I ain't finna get to the back of the bus. I don't know what you're talking about. But she wasn't talking about let's hold hands with the white people. She just wanted to be in the front of the bus. What is these laws set up to deprive my people for? Okay, the United States government, the Congress, have been waging war against the native people. Literally stripped them of their land. He literally instituted a law, which is genocide, the Indian Removal Act, to remove the Native Americans from their land, to allow the so-called Caucasians Americans who just got freedom from the British. You just did a genocide against a whole people. United States government did this. Who was ran by Caucasians. But you have so-called free Negroes up in the north who had nothing, who didn't even do anything really to help the people because they was free. Like W.E.B. Du Bois was a free Negro. A lot of free blacks who was up north while the people was in slavery. Now I'm looking at it right now. Joe Biden just passed. He introduced a crime bill. Was mass incarceration, right? Black politicians voted for it. Now we have millions of people in jail, in prison, right now, which is slavery because of Joe Biden. A lot of it is because of drugs. Now they just legalized drugs for Caucasians to sell, in Chicago and Illinois. Why ain't these blacks trying to get these people free from jail? Now this is what Trump was doing. Trump was getting people out of jail. Freeing the people, basically like freeing the slaves, right? Now you telling me I'm supposed to hate Trump and love Biden, and Biden is the one who threw the people in prison. Trump got the people out of prison. Now, the U.S. government, the Democrat Party was the original party. They wanted the black people to be slaves forever, right? They fought the revolution. They fought the Civil War to keep slavery, to keep black people in slavery. Now I'm supposed to be a Democrat. You telling me to be, these black people is telling me I'm supposed to vote for Democrats who have done nothing to help my people ever. I can't think of anything they ever did to help us. They tell us, the Democrats tell us, we are minorities, meaning we are less than them, and we are oppressed and minorities because of our skin color. Now, subconsciously and also consciously, you will always be a minority because you will always have dark skin, brown skin. The only way to not be a brown-skinned person is to try to breed with the non-black people, like Michael Jackson did, like Serena Williams did, so their children won't be a minority. But the reason that we're oppressed and we're not minorities is not because of our skin. It's because we were destroyed and deprived of our wealth and resources and our perpetual claim to America. It has nothing to do with our skin. But by the Democrats telling you you are a minority, black, non-Hispanic, Negro, nothing. You accept this. Black people accept this, and they actually think the way they think. The way they think is like, as a man thinking in his heart, so is he, King Solomon. You actually become a nothing minority because this is what the government programmed you to believe, and you are not resisting. You are not resisting the programming. You are not resisting being a minority. You actually embraced being a person of color, black and brown, oppressed people. You actually embrace this philosophy that's given to you by the Democrats, right? The government, the United States government. It's just not, it's all of them. The Congress, the Supreme Court, who never done anything for blacks. Congress never done nothing for blacks. I can't say the executive branch because the only branch of government that I ever saw try to help blacks was the executive branch. It was never Congress. Congress never came like they trying to impeach Trump. They never just voluntarily jumped up and talk about we got a policy for black people. They never did it. It always been a war, a struggle, a movement, forced them to do what they could have easily done, like they trying to do now, you know. But we got to think our own thoughts. We can't allow people to teach us how to think. We can't believe the history that they're telling us, because the history, a lot of it is not logical. It doesn't add up. You know, we got to look at our traitors. We got to know who our traitors are, who sold us out. We cannot believe the philosophy like double consciousness, the quest for the golden fleece by Du Bois, talking about integration with white people. Like, you telling us to hate white people, but you want us to integrate with white people. You want us to integrate. You tell us the government did all this evil. They bombed our cities. They destroyed our business institutions. But you're going to integrate with them after they destroyed your cities. Like, what type of coward, weak mentality is this? Like, why don't you want to be an independent people? A separate, independent people? Why are they keep on telling us, you telling me one thing, but you're doing the opposite? You're doing the opposite. It's like you are unevenly yoked. You know, you can't be hot and cold. You are lukewarm. You gotta have a side. You gotta pick a side. You know, you can't blend all this up together. You gotta have a consistent philosophy. We are not an ambiguous person of color. We are not a minority. We are not less than anybody, because we are all like subjected to this earth. Everybody's subjected to gravity. Everybody has to breathe air, has to drink water. You know, just because a government has deemed a particular people because the government is hostile. Like, you don't want to admit it, but the United States government is the enemy of the black people in America. The black leadership has always tried to integrate with the government, who don't want nothing to do with you. You don't want to stand up like how the so-called 13 colonies stood up against the British, white people fighting other white people. You don't want to do that, but you telling me to hate white people. You telling me to love Africans. You telling me to love the people of color, to love Biden, to love the Democrats. You want to tell me what to think and who to hate. But I could determine who I think, what I think, why I think, when I think. I could determine to not hate nobody. You know, I could determine to hate everybody. But I'm a determine that, not you. Black people are oppressed people. Black people must vote for Democrats. Black people must accept illegal immigrants. Black people must accept homosexuals. Black people must accept any deviant, disturbing activity because we're oppressed minorities and we gotta join with other so-called minorities. Well, where were the homosexuals, the slave master homosexuals who had us in slavery? Where was them fighting for freedom? Where was this at? We gotta accept the so-called women, white women, right? Where was the so-called white women during the civil rights movement, during the slavery days, during a so-called American Revolution? Where was they fighting for black people freedom ever? They get the resource. Everybody get the resources. You know, it's all about them getting money, but life ain't about getting money. Life is about a purpose, because you only have a limited amount of time. You could use that time being a servant, being subjected, being submissive. You can use that time being dominant. You can use that time being a slave. You can use that time chasing money, or you can use that time building, destroying. You can do whatever you want to do with that time, but it's your time. You know, it's your particular time. You can't follow hypocrites who tell you one thing and then tell you another thing and then tell you another thing. You can't believe none of it. Can't believe none of it. It's all crap. It's all manipulation. It's all controlling your destiny without them actually putting a string to your head. They can just manipulate your thoughts, determine who you like, who you don't like, determine your reactions and your non-reactions, and just lead y'all all to the destruction, lead you all to poverty, telling you you were just a permanent underclass minority with no hope for elevation. You're stuck in this skin and there's nothing you can do about it. But every Caucasian in America, probably the vast majority of them, are second generation immigrants. The Spanish flu killed off a mass amount of people. The Civil War killed off a mass amount of people. Most of these people ain't got nothing to do with the history of America. They just got here from Europe 2-3 days ago. But you're giving them the credit for something they had nothing to do with. It's the government, not these people. Most of these people just got here from World War II. Refugees from World War II. Refugees from the war in Bosnia, Yugoslavia. The war's here, the war's there. Crawled over here. And because they got a particular skin color, they automatically get put in the category of a majority and given power because of how the government structures it. Because of their skin color. You automatically associate them with the history of America. But they have nothing to do with the history of America. They just got here 2 days ago. And the same thing for other people with the darker skin. Because they got dark skin, they get associated with the black people of America and what they've been through, even though they have nothing to do with it. See, skin color is deception. Skin color doesn't make a person who they are. You know, it's a secondary, tertiary characteristic of a person. A person has a nationality, a bloodline, a history, a culture. Regardless of your skin. You got Caucasians that was born in Africa who have an African culture. South Africans, the so-called Afrikaans, who don't even associate with England. They think they're Afrikaans. They think they're the original Africans. They got the same skin. So when they get over here to America with that skin, they get put in a category with the so-called majority population, just off of skin. And we accept this. We accept this government. We vote for these Democrats who didn't change that, mind you. Biden never changed that. You know, none of these Democrats never changed it. The racist classifications of the so-called minorities and people of color has not been changed. It's perpetual, it's permanent. You're a permanent underclass. And that's it.